Hello, good day everyone. My name is Teacher Ivan, and today we will study about laws of exponents for multiplication, and it is called the product law. But before we proceed, do not forget to like, share, and hit the subscribe button and notification bell for updates about our latest videos. So let us start with our objectives for today. At the end of this video, we will be able to discuss the importance of following the laws of exponents. Next is we apply the steps and the rules in answering laws of exponents for product law. And last, we have to understand the importance of obeying simple rules or laws inside and outside your home. So let us kick this off by knowing first the definition of law and exponents. So when we talk about law, it is a system of rules created and enforced through social or governmental institution to regulate behavior. Okay? So meaning to say, these are the standards that we have to follow in order for us to be organized and civilized. When it comes to math, these are the rules that we have to consider before making any steps. Okay, so next is exponents. So when we talk about exponents, it denotes the number of times you multiply the base to itself. So most often than not, we tend to multiply the base to its exponents. But mind you, that is the common mistake of most of the students. Allow me to demonstrate by giving you examples. So the first example is 5 raised to the second power, or 5 squared. So what we usually do is we just simply multiply 5 by 2, which is the common mistake. Okay? So what we should do is we multiply 5 times 5, and that will be equal to, very good, it's 25. Okay, next, let's have some more examples. Okay, so next one is 3 cubed, or 3 raised to the third power. Okay? So 3 raised to the third power, what other students usually do, again, is we multiply 3 times 3. Well, that is incorrect. Okay? So what we should do is we multiply 3 by itself 3 times. So it should be 3 times 3 times 3. And the answer will be correct. It's 27. All right. Now, let's go to the next example. That will be the last example for our exponents. Okay, so we have 2 raised to the 5th power. So when we talk about 2 raised to the 5th power, what we do usually is 2 times 5. Well, again, do not do this. Okay? So what we should do is you multiply 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And that will give you what? Great, that's 32. All right, perfect. Now that we already know the definition of both words, let us combine both and discuss the product law. So when we talk about product law, it states that if A is raised to the m power times A raised to the n power, where A are your bases and m and n are your exponents, what we usually do is just simply copy the base A and add the exponents. But what if there is a numerical coefficient? So we have to follow these 3 simple steps. So the first one is we have to multiply the numerical coefficient. After multiplying the numerical coefficient, we copy the base and then add the exponents. Okay, so to further understand this, let us have some examples. Example number 1, x squared times x to the 5th. Okay? So what we are going to do first is to follow the steps. Alright? Now, multiply the numerical coefficient. It shows here that there is no numerical coefficient present. So always remember that if there is no numerical coefficient beside the variable, the value is always 1. Okay? So again, if the numerical coefficient is not present, the value of the numerical coefficient is always 1. So what you're going to do is to multiply the numerical coefficient 1 times 1. So the answer will be 1, right? And then proceed with the second step, which is copy the base. And the base is x. Okay? And then what you're going to do next is to add the exponents. So 2 plus 5, that will give you 7. Alright? So again, since the numerical coefficient is 1, you don't have to write it down. Okay? So same with exponents. If the exponent is 1, you don't have to write it down. Okay? Now let's proceed with number 2. Number 2, we have 3x to the 8 times 4x to the 5th. So again, follow the simple steps, the 3 steps. First is you multiply the numerical coefficient. Based on the example, we have the numerical coefficient, which is 3 and 4. So multiply that, you will have 12. Okay? The next step is to copy the base, which is x. So copy the base x and then add the exponents. 8 plus 5, that will give you 13. Getting it? Alright, perfect. Now, let's have number 3. Example number 3, we have negative 5x squared times 7x cubed. So basically, as you can see in this example, the signs of the numerical coefficient are different. So remember this song whenever you are multiplying. I actually created this song before when I was in college. So it goes like this. Same sign, positive when we multiply. Different sign is negative as well when we divide. So basically, if it is same sign, it should be positive. And if it is different sign, it should be negative. So basically here on this example, number 3, we have different sign. So the product should be a negative. So negative 5 times 7 will be equal to negative 35. Okay? Then copy the base, x, and then add the exponents 2 plus 3. That will give you 5. Okay? Getting it? Okay, now let's have another example, number 4. So for number 4, we have negative 6x to the 7th times negative 9x to the 4th. So in here, we have similar signs or same signs. So the product will be positive. So 6 times 9 will give you positive 54. Alright? And then copy the base, x, and then add the exponents. 7 plus 4 will give you 11. Alright? Got it? Let's have one last example. Number 5. Oh, okay, you can see here that we have 2 bases or 2 variables, x and y. So let's try it out, shall we? Okay, now let's multiply 8 times negative 9. So 8 times negative 9, since they have different signs, you will have a product which is negative. So 8 times negative 9 will give you negative 72. Alright? Next is we will proceed with the next step, which is copy the base. And the first base is x. And then add the exponents of x. We have 7 plus 5. The answer will be 12. And then go back to the next step, which is copy the base, y, and then add the exponents. 4 plus 6, you will have 10. So that is already the answer. Got it? Alright, perfect. Now, let's have some more examples, shall we? Okay, so what if we have different bases? So let's have some examples. So the first step here, what we are going to do is we multiply the numerical coefficient. The next thing is to copy the base and then copy the exponents. So the only difference between the previous steps that I have explained earlier is that on the third step of this one, we are going to copy the exponents. So let's have example number 1. So First, you have here x squared times y to the fifth. Okay, so you've noticed that the bases are different. Okay, so let's go over with the steps, shall we? All right. Now, first multiply the numerical coefficient. So since the numerical coefficient is not present, we will have 1 times 1, the product will be 1. Okay? And then, copy the base, x and y. Okay? And then, the third step is to copy the exponents, 2 and 5. Alright? So since you don't have to write down the 1, so you'll just simply remove that 1. Okay? So the final answer is x squared y to the fifth. Okay? Now let's have one more example. 2x cubed times 4y to the 6. Following the steps, we have multiplied the numerical coefficient. 2 times 4, we'll have 8. And then, copy the base, x, copy the exponent, 3, then copy the base again, y, then copy the exponent, 6. Easy, right? So let's have number 3. So number 3, we have negative 7x to the fifth times 6y to the 8th. So you've noticed that the signs are different. So the product should be a negative. So negative 7 times 6, you will have negative 42. And then copy the base, x, and its exponent, which is 5. Then copy again the base, y, then the exponent, 8. Alright? Now let's have some more. Okay, so combining all the skills that we have discussed earlier, let us try some more examples. Okay? We will mix it up. So, number 1. 2x squared times 3x cubed y to the fifth. So in here, you've noticed that the first factor doesn't have a y. Meanwhile, the second factor has a y. So we'll just go on with the steps, shall we? Perfect. Now, let us multiply the numerical coefficient. 2 times 3. So the answer will be 6. Right? And then, copy the base, x. Then add the exponents. 2 plus 3 will give you 5. And then since y doesn't appear on the first factor, you'll just simply copy it. Y to the fifth. Got it? Alright, let's have number 2. Okay, so negative 6x to the fourth y to the 6 times 5x squared y to the 8th z. So you've noticed that on the first factor, we have x and y. On the second factor, we have x, y, z. So again, we'll just continue with the process or the steps. So negative 6 times 5, you'll have negative 30. And then, copy the base x. Then add the exponent, 4 plus 2, you'll have 6. And then in y, just copy y. Then add the exponent, 6 plus 8, we'll have 14. And since there is no z on the first factor, we'll just simply copy the letter z. But take note that z always has an exponent of 1. Alright? But you don't have to write it down, just like in the numerical coefficient. Now, let's proceed with number 3. Okay. So for number 3, we have 9y to the 6th z times negative 4x to the fourth y to the fifth z squared. So we've noticed that on the first factor, you don't have x. Okay, so let's just go on with the steps, shall we? Okay, 9 times negative 4, we'll have negative 36. And then, since we don't have x on the first factor, we'll just simply copy the base and its exponent, x to the fourth. Alright? And then, we have y. Copy the base y and then add the exponent, 6 plus 5. We'll have 11. And last, we have z times z squared. Okay, so the first z has an exponent of 1, so we will just simply add 1 plus 2. That's why it's 3. All right? Got it? Okay, so now let's have some exercises. I believe you can do it, right? Okay, so let's have some exercises, shall we? All right, so let's answer number 1. Okay, for number 1, we have 9x to the 5th times 7x squared. So in here, you'll just simply first multiply the numerical coefficient, and the product will be, okay, perfect, it's 63. That's good. Now, copy the base, and what will be your base? Okay, that's correct, it's x. And then add the exponents. 5 plus 2, the answer is? Alright, that's correct, it's 7. So the final answer will be 63x to the 7. Okay, so let's have number 2. So for number 2, we have negative 6x squared times negative 6y to the 4th. So basically, you have similar or same sign. So the product should be, yes, that's correct. It should be positive. So positive 36. Now, you've noticed that there are different variables or different bases. So what we are going to do is to just, what? Okay, copy the base and exponent. So let's do it. X squared, okay, copy the base and the exponents, and then y to the 4th. Got it? Okay, perfect. Now, let's have number 3. So in number 3, we have 4x squared times negative 8xy cubed. So in here, again, we multiply the coefficients, the numerical coefficients. 4 times negative 8, you'll have, correct, it's negative 32. And then copy the base, x, and then add the exponents. 2 plus 1, the answer is 3. That's good. And then since there's no y in the first factor, so we will just simply copy the base and exponents. And then number 4, we have negative 7 times 3x squared y to the 8. So let's just simply multiply negative 7 times 3. The answer is, okay, correct, it's negative 21. And since the first factor doesn't have any variable and exponents, we'll just simply copy the variables and exponents. Got it? Okay, last exercise. Number 5, we have 5x cubed z to the 4th times negative 2x to the 7th y to the 6th. So go with the process once again. 5 times negative 2 will have negative 10. Very good. And then copy the base x. And then how about the exponents? Add the exponents, right? Okay, so 3 plus 7 will give you 10. Okay, very good. Now, since there is no y in the first factor, what we are going to do is to just simply copy y and the exponent 6. And then same with z. It doesn't have any z on the second factor, so we'll just copy z and then the exponent of 4. Got it? Did you get the same answers? All right, perfect. So I have a question for you. All right, so what are your takeaways in this lesson? What have you realized while answering the laws of exponents? Was it hard for you? Is it really hard to, follow some rules and regulations? Well, personally, my takeaway in this lesson is that whenever we follow the rules and obey the laws, we can most likely get what we want in life. These laws can make us feel safe and secure. Always remember that if following simple rules or laws will be hard for you, how long do you think it will be before you're out there breaking laws? All right? Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you for watching and see you next time for our other videos. Goodbye!